Man, I'll tell you what, sleep is a crazy thing. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Somnium, the newest film from director Rachael Cain. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here is a movie I guarantee you have never heard of before. Somnium is about a character who is played by Chloë Levine. She's an individual that comes from out of town, basically, to become a actress in Hollywood, as most people do when they come to LA. And in the process, she's not doing very well, as you come to expect. And she comes across a job that is an overnight job at a place called Somnium, which is a sleep clinic that helps people kind of realize their dreams in a lot of respects. But with a movie like this, you had to have some kind of conflict in a lot of respects. And Gemma, who is Chloë Levine's character, basically has a boyfriend that she's broken up with that she is having a difficult moving past type of situation. So it's a movie that in essence is her trying to gain a foot forward in her career, as well as trying to move past her past in a lot of respects, which is holding her up. And because this is a horror film, there are things in this movie that are reminiscent or indicative of what it is to struggle to move forward when our past is kind of pushing us back in a lot of respects. So there is a creature in this movie that represents that in a lot of respects. And so it's a movie about a woman struggling to move past her past into a bright and beautiful future. So this is like a movie like Starry Eyes in a lot of respects, or a movie like La La Land, where our past is just conflicting with our future and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to a movie like Somnium, I do like these types of movies because you will find a lot of good, diamonds in the rough movies that you just never hear of before, or that end up being like really decent, really entertaining. But there's also an issue with the VOD market where it's so saturated that these movies get kind of under the shuffle of all the bigger budgeted movies. So when I get presented something like this and I see the trailer and I think it looks interesting, I'm all about it. This also has a movie that has Johnathon Schaech in it, who is of course from like That Thing You Do and a lot of other stuff. And at least from the trailer, it looked like it was going to be interesting. But with the VOD market, in the way I've kind of positioned my movie emporium, these are the types of movies I really like enjoy and kind of really want to like learn more about, because that VOD market has some, like I said, some really cool stuff. And when working in the pandemic, when I really kind of started this channel, that's when I found like some of the really cooler stuff and stuff like that. So going into a movie like this, I was hoping at least I was going to be entertained. And what I came out of this movie as my honest review is this movie is really entertaining. This movie is actually quite fun to watch. It's very creepy. It's very cool. It's one of those movies I hope garners at least some kind of audience and gives Rachael Cain a kind of thrust in her career, because it is a really well put together movie. It's a well structured movie. I think Chloë Levine, who is having to hold all this movie on her shoulders, does a really fantastic job. She's fun. She's entertaining. She is precocious. She's also kind of taken back by her kind of past. She's having to deal with like the demons of the future. And it's also a movie that shows you how kind of upsetting and dark and unnatural the process of Hollywood and trying to make it into Hollywood can truly be, and how it like throws people away. And that's what I love about these types of movies, and especially this one, is what that entails, what she has to go through to make that happen. And she makes mistakes in this movie. She has issues that she goes through in this movie. And I found it really kind of refreshing that this movie really tries to show that side of Hollywood, because you get this preconception notion that Hollywood is like this glamorous, this fun, this, party style world, when it really is a kind of demented worldview of just like, struggling people who will never make it, that work, and pay lots of money to a renter and stuff like that, and, get kind of thrust into this world where they're constantly trying to get a job and they're kind of made fun of, and there's like thousands of other people trying to get the job. It's really just kind of degrading when it comes to how it kind of throws you around. And even if you make it, you never know how far you're going to get. So watching a woman like this Gemma character have to go through this, and on top of everything, because it's a horror film, having to watch this world of Somnium, which is a sleep clinic, and how it like starts to kind of throw on her senses and her mind, and how it kind of manipulates her. And then on top of everything, there's a dark underlining thing that's going on in this clinic. And it's one of those things about realities and what we want to view as realities, never entirely in focus in a lot of respects. And so I really appreciate what this movie is doing. I think Rachael Cain does a really nice job of focusing on this one girl and like the struggles and kind of the darkness that entails when you go to do something like this. And it really is a great movie. It really is. Is it like the best movie I've ever seen this year? No, but I think Rachael Cain and I think the actors and actresses that work in this movie do a really nice job, and the visual effects that are in this movie are really well done. This is a really low budgeted movie, so they probably stretched the limit of their budget to do some of the cool effects in this movie. And I think this movie just has a lot of heart to it. I think it has a lot of passion. I think Rachael Cain has a lot to say in this movie, and I think it really works on a really cool meta level, as well as just a level of like showing you this is what Hollywood is like. You do not want to do this, and sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't, and sometimes it will eat your soul in the process. But once again, you know, it's a really fun, really entertaining horror film that has a lot to say, a lot of messages, and I think people like Chloë Levine have a really good future on their hands if they keep it up and they keep working at their craft, because she's really good in this movie. It was surprising. This is the type of movie that I really love to find, because like I said, it's one of those special types of movies that, you know, needs an audience, needs people to talk about it, because that's how movies like this work. You know, you look at like Hundreds of Beavers and stuff like that. This is that type of movie where it just needs that push, and it'll garner some really cool reviews and really appreciation from people. I think overall, I think it really is a refreshing horror film in a lot of respects, and one that's worth at least paying some money for to watch, and give, you know, Rachael Cain and the crew and cast at least some love, because I think it's worth a watch. So there you go. But with that said, that is going to be my take on Somnium. Once again, it is on VOD shortly. It's from Yellow Veil Pictures, I believe. Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for watching my review of Somnium. I do appreciate it. In the comments below, what is your favorite movie that you found on, let's say, VOD that is something nobody's really ever heard of before that you really kind of appreciated? Once again, during the pandemic, there was a lot of stuff that came out that I really kind of enjoyed. So let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top. The fun is coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.